Ladies and gents, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy. This is Battlefield 5. Try to ignore the revving car engine out the window, which I'm going to try to noise cancel for the video. And for a while now, I've had people asking me about my settings in the game for this updated setting and that, and I haven't done it because I figured nobody wants to watch that again, but people keep asking me, so I'm doing an updated 2020 settings guide for console with some tips for PC as well. I'm putting aside trying to get viewership today just to try to be helpful for you, so when this video gets 1,000 views total, you're welcome and pray for me and my income. Okay, let's get into this. Alright, so I'm going to go into some of this in detail and other bits just really breeze over it because there's a billion things in this menu, some of them important, some of them not, but I am going to act as if you don't know anything about the settings because that seems only fair, and also this is all just explanations and recommendations. I'm not telling you exactly what to do. You shouldn't just copy mine, you need to find what works for you, okay? So let's start this off. Invert vertical look, I have that off, so if I pull down, I look down, if I push up, I look up. If you like the opposite of that, then use on, very simple. Down. Soldier aim sensitivity, this is your looking around when you're not in ADS. Just pick whatever you like. If you're over aiming, so you're zooming past where you're looking for, bring it down. If it's taking you too long to get to what you're trying to aim at, put it up. Same thing with this, only this is in your aim down sight. If you're over aiming, put it down. If you're under aiming, put it up. Give it some time. If you want to increase it over time, then do so, but don't just whack it up to full. Move it up incrementally as you improve. Soldier sprinting, I have this on toggle. It means I don't have to hold it down the whole time to actually run around. I find that to be better with toggle on, but it's going to be up to you, but most people will prefer toggle. Not many people want to keep the pressure on the stick the whole time they're trying to run, and it can give your thumb some pain actually as well. Double tap forward to sprint, I have this off. Again, I don't think that's very beneficial for most people. I know that on Minecraft on console, that's how it works, but I don't see people really use it in FPS games. If you want to, then do so. Double tap to sprint slide, I do use that. I use the right stick to slide, and I find this just to be better. It's nice and easy just to quickly tap that, and off I go. But again, I don't want to keep saying this, but I really must stress, it is up to you. Soldier weapon zoom, I hold it. This is what most people use. If you just want to tap it to aim in and tap it again to come out, then fine, do that. Steady scope, I use toggle on this because I don't want to hold down that stick to, it's where you take a breath, your guy holds his breath rather. It's not floating around as much, let's say, with the breathing when you're using a sniper scope. So I have it on toggle because if I've got constant pressure on it holding it, I feel like it affects my shot. So play around, see which one you prefer. That's not really important. Soldier leaning, just again, choose what you like. I don't think the leaning works very well in this game anyway. It's a bit finicky, doesn't really work a lot of the time, but it is important to try to work that into your game when you can. I use toggle. And then vehicle aim sensitivity is much like above with the soldier aim sensitivity, just in a vehicle when you're looking around. I don't really use vehicles, so don't copy mine. Just listen to what I say and then work out what you're going to mesh with well. Vehicle weapon zoom, again, the same as with a weapon. Hold it down if you prefer, then use toggle. Invert flight controls. This is when people use flight simulator games, use them, play them. Sometimes people like to pull down to look up and push up to look down as if they're like kind of using the stick in a plane. I don't. I'd never invert my controls in FPS games ever, but keep that in mind. If you come on and it feels weird, you need to go and put this on rather than off. Across now to control schemes. I leave all of this default aside from, well, basically because I use the custom mapping here. The only thing I want to talk to you about is that I use the right stick to slide and prone and all that, as I said earlier, because it allows me to to slide shoot people and slide all the time and slide when I need to more easily. What I will show you here though, if you press Y on this, they kind of broke this on console and I don't know if it's still broken. Some people felt that they couldn't slide anymore with the right stick. It was making them melee first. To fix that, I made it so that there's nothing assigned for crouch toggle, crouch hold, or prone, and I just have sprint slide and crouch toggle prone hold with the right stick, and that now works as normal. If you've had a problem with that, come and do that in here in the custom mapping. Just a little edit, I should also say here that I set my melee to the B button, so make sure you do that as well. So melee is B button, those other two are right stick, and that should get rid of your problems. Out we go. Back into there. On to advanced. Aiming left-right acceleration. This is just, again, what you're going to like. You should choose. So for me, I have it on the max because I'm used to it from just playing this game. This is what I've always had it on. it alters how much your aim accelerates the longer you hold it for as you look around. If you don't want it to accelerate and you want it to just be constant the whole time, then have it on 0. If you want it to accelerate a lot, 100%, and then anything in between, okay? Uniform soldier aiming, I have this on. It means that all my weapons, regardless of what they are, what the zooms are, all that kind of stuff, you move the aim at the same rate. If you don't like that, fine, but that's what I do, and it helps me with my muscle memory. My coefficient is 133%, as it says there. Fine-tune the uniform soldier aiming if enabled. A greater value results in higher sensitivity at higher zoom levels. Okay, onwards. Same for this stick. It's for both the sticks I have the same. Vehicle aim relative controls. I'm just going to read what it says on the side there for this one. Enable or disable aim relative controls in vehicles with turrets. When set to on, the vehicle will attempt to move relative to where the camera is aiming. When set to off, the vehicle will move relative to its own heading. So with it on, you'll be looking at where the camera is looking. That's what you'll be using as your central point. If you have it off, you'll be looking at which way the vehicle is heading, the front of the vehicle. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Decouple aiming from turning as driver, I have that off. All of this is just going to be for you. There's no point me explaining it. You need to play around with what you prefer. There's not much to go into. And then I don't alter any of these aim sensitivities. Again, I use the uniform one anyway. So I leave all this. The plain ones on that because I don't use them. My soldier aim ratio is 48%. And same for the vehicles. Just go and fine tune it to what you enjoy. Okay? Good. Onwards. Controller tuning. Vibration I have on. If you can play with it off, please do. It will affect your aim if you have it on. I have it on because I have to. I'm just used to it. I cannot play without it. I use it so it lets me know when I'm being shot. But for a lot of you, if you can get used to having vibration off, it will help you because you then aren't fighting the recoil. All you're doing is focusing on aiming your weapon. Okay, that's my tip. But I have to have it on, okay? Dead zones, the sense dead zone, I have this really low because I like to have the stick react pretty much as soon as I push it. I don't want there to be a delay. It feels like there's a bit of delay on the higher settings. I don't like that, but I don't have it on 0 because sometimes that causes drift on my sticks. So I have it on a nice 10% on this one and on this one. The axial dead zone, this sets how much the horizontal and vertical values cancel each other out when pushing the stick all the way. So the lower this is, the less help you get with that. The higher it is, the more it assists you in it. So if you're very precise with your aim, have no issues with it, then maybe have it kind of low. If you want a bit of help with that balancing, then have it high. I know that's not a very good explanation, but that's all it really tells us about it, and it's just one way you got to play around with it. Max input threshold, so this is just how much you have to push the stick to get the maximum output from it. I have it on 100%, so if I go all the way to the right, it moves all the way to the right. If you want it to respond more quickly than that, so if you only push it a little bit to get the max output, then put the input down to 0%, just again find what you like, and it's the same for my right stick. The dead zones, I have these as low as possible for the triggers. I want the weapon to aim and fire as soon as I hit the trigger, but if you've not got very steady hands and you're accidentally firing with it down there, then put it up a bit. And that takes us through the control scheme section. We're coming out of there and we're going to gameplay. I'm not going to go through all of these, just highlight the ones I think might be of importance. I have HUD motion off, so when you're running, for me, it doesn't have it sort of shaking around. I prefer for it to just remain stable. I then have the kill log on. I think that it had it before where that was hidden by default. I don't know if that's still how it is, but you should have the kill log on to see what's happening around you and if people are actually dying. And I have that for all. If you just want it for people on your team or just squad or just self or nearby, then do as you please. Some people like nearby because then they know exactly what's happening just around them. But I prefer all to see exactly what's happening all over the battlefield. And then these are what I have down here. Not many of these are very important in my opinion. I have loadout mirroring on down here. So that's where you've got the same loadout on every faction. So you don't have to keep setting them for each individual one. If you want that, then put that on. If not, if you want faction-specific weapons or something, then have it off so you can choose the historically accurate ones if you like doing that. But I have it on so that just what I select is the same every single time I play the game. And this here, let's just go back up. If you can't read the writing on white backgrounds, put this up higher. They haven't made very good UI in this game, in my opinion, so you might want to put that way up so you can see the text more easily when you're playing on snow or something like that. And then if we go down here, I have the crosshair visibility on max. I can't see why you wouldn't want that. My crosshair color is green, that's just what works for me. Use what works for you, but I use something that stands out for me against the background. Even against grass, I can see it really easily. Some people disagree. You can change the glow of the NIDAR and reflex sight to make it easier to see or to reduce it if it's obstructing your view. The hit indicator visibility I have on 100%. I don't see why you'd want lower. My body shot hit color is white, my headshot hit color is yellow, and my kill indicator is red. This way I know exactly what I'm hitting, whether I'm actually aiming at the head or not, when they're dead, if I'm hitting the target, all that kind of stuff. Not too bothered about any of that. Texture opacity, honestly, just you find what you like for these. They're not very important. Anything down here changed? Not really. No. You could just put these up or down to make them more or less visible. If you like to have less of the HUD on the screen, put them down at nothing. If you like to have all the indicators on, then have them up high, etc. Advanced. Oh, are we up at the top? Yes, we are. Now, important one, I think. Camera shake scale I have on 50%, which is the lowest. I don't want my screen shaking everywhere. When there's explosions and all that kind of stuff, I want it to be as stable as possible to help me aim and not get distracted. I have all of these on because I want my parachute to deploy automatically when I'm falling. I want to automatically peek over or around things when I aim near them. I want the character lighting to be on. My soldier aim assist and soldier aim assist zoom snap, this is really important. So the soldier aim assist is the slowdown when you're aiming at the target, how sticky it is when you, sorry, I need to stop pressing buttons so you'll hear them. How sticky it is when you're aiming at the target. It helps you to remain on target. If you don't want that, put it on 0. If you want more, go up to 100%. And then soldier aim zoom snap down here, that's how much it snaps to target if you aim near them. For some weapons it's very helpful, for others it's not. For a sniper rifle it's not helpful because it will pull you to the nearest body part or center mass or something when maybe you're trying to aim for the head. Also sometimes when you aim it might take you to the wrong target. Some people like to have this on, some off, you'll have to work it out. Vehicle exactly the same, just choose what works for you. And then I feel like these down here aren't of particular importance. So we're going to move on to audio. I personally have my music volume on 0% because I'm a content creator. I don't want the music on there if I'm streaming, lol, when I streamed, or in videos because I have my own music. If you just want the full experience, then obviously have the music on. I use 3D headphones because I think they're the best for me, but honestly I think the sound in the game isn't very good anyway, and some people use something else. It's going to be on you to just pick the one that works, go and have a play around with different ones. A lot of this not very important, I feel, so we're going to bail out of there. And we're on to video. Brightness, just pick what works for you. Field of view, I have this quite high. So the higher this is, the more of the edge of the screens you actually see. So you're not having to look around as much to see what's going on. You're not getting caught off guard by people outside your peripheral vision. But if you have it too high, there might be too much for you to look at. So, you know, pick what works. Again, sorry, I keep saying it, but please pick what works for you. Play around with it. 90 is what I use. The vehicle one I can't advise you on. ADS field of view I have off. I am keen to try this at some point though. This is the setting that people use so that there's less of a zoom when you aim in, but it looks like you've got basically no recoil. So it's a little hard to see what you're aiming at, but you're not really having to control things, it feels like, as much. Have a play around, see what you like. I am very keen to try this soon to see if I can replicate the 0 recoil thing I'm seeing other people do. So, but at the minute I have that off so that when I zoom, it actually zooms in fully. Motion blur, I don't want that. I don't want any extra effects. I don't want it to be blurry so I'm spinning around looking. I want it all to be crisp and clear. That's what I recommend. I don't use ADS depth of field effects. Again, I don't want any extra effects. As I said, this kind of blurs the edge of your screen so that you're just focused on what you're looking at when you're ADSing. I prefer to be able to see what's going on around me, even when I'm aiming in. I think it's very important. And then I have all these effects off because, as I said, don't want any extra effects. I just want performance rather than prettiness or aesthetics. If you want the extra aesthetics, then have them on. If you don't, have them off and just focus on doing well in the game. And I think that's my full rundown. I hope I didn't skip over anything important. I hope it was very clear, but really a lot of this is just find what works for you. Those are my recommendations and explanations, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button, it helps me to grow. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you're new here, and all the links to my social media, including Patreon, can be found in the description and my pinned comment. Here is the Board of Awesome for the epic people who already support me on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes, and I love them all deeply, and of course, often. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. With all that said, I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters. If this thing doesn't work, they maybe have nothing else or just a small selection of things, and basically there can be lots of situations arise where they don't really know how to succeed. The majority of people in fact just find what the meta picks are, what the best weapon in the game is right now, and then just use that.